So I'm on the pre-construction side. So I work with architects and engineers to make sure that the design intent is met and that the building is on budget. So in my career, I've been very fortunate to work on sports projects. It started in the early 80s when Bob Nielsen came to me and said, we're going to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're going to build an arena. And I said, Bob, are you crazy? We've never done that before. He said, 25,000 seats, they have $42 million, and we're going to do this. And I said, Bob, we can't. Nobody can do this. We haven't done this ever in our life. So we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. And sure enough, we went down, got the job, and that started me almost 40 years ago working, specializing in sports. So Bob's Marine training to take the hill paid off, and here I am today.
Tom, we built Madison Square Garden in the 60s. We know
That's
all
right. Well,
about
Bob did Madison Square Garden. He worked on that in 1968, I think that was completed. So probably literally hundreds of projects I've worked on in all these years, including 10 NFL stadiums. We just finished the Rams stadium in LA where they played the Super Bowl last year. Built the 49ers as another example. And currently I'm working on the planning for the new stadium for the Buffalo Bills. Worked on 8 MLS stadiums, Major League Soccer. Just finished the Cincinnati, FC Cincinnati, and also the Columbus Crew. Work also on convention centers because it's the same concept, what they call public assembly. So when you get a lot of people together, you have the same challenges from an arena as you would do in a stadium, as you would in a convention center. And everything I talk about here, don't be misled here by the fact that we do, last year the company did $14 billion worth of buildings, $14 billion. And my point today is that everything that we did to do $14 billion, the same concepts, the same challenges, the same people, the same talents, all those things are the same for a $2,000 house renovation. Same ideas, same concepts. So in the world today, there are a couple of things that have been very different. Over the past, let's say 20, 30 years, a lot of things have come into play that have affected construction. Leadership in environmental design is made for buildings to be more sustainable. ADA requirements have increased and made buildings bigger. Handicap ramps, access for people in the stadium to get to all seat levels. And then there's several things that have happened to increase revenue generation. Technology is exponential increase in this. So people are ordering food from their phones, they're watching streaming games, there's the internet is, those resources have to be expanded greatly in what we're seeing. The other thing, another one is architectural statement. We used to talk about putting a playing field down and then wrapping a building around it, and that was it. And now they're looking for buildings that are exciting, that people want to go to. And the issues are, they want to get people out of their living rooms watching their big screen TVs and coming back to the games. We're seeing seat levels decrease. We used to do 72,000 was the minimum, and now the new Bills stadium will be 60,000. Fan amenities have increased greatly, food service, widths of concourses. They want to just make it more desirable to bring these people back. And then another one is emphasis on safety. OSHA has, rightfully so, have increased requirements that are reflected in the designs that we're working on today. So that's kind of the history. But today, there's a bunch of things going on that are quite unusual. There's 3 things I'd like to talk about. The aging workforce is causing labor to be very difficult to get. Quality craftsmanship is very difficult. And So labor is hard to get. That's causing prices to increase. I'm sure you're all know in the paper, reading the paper about what COVID has done to this thing that nobody talked about called the supply chain. Is now in everybody's thoughts when you can't get simple things at the supermarket to you can't get uh, switchgear. Electrical switchgear has a 70-week lead time. 70 week. I was working on that this morning for the bills. So they can't get a key electrical component for over a year now, almost a year and a half to get a piece of equipment that's critical in the schedule of building the job. Then another thing that's increasing costs and putting a lot of turmoil is the fact that when COVID hit, everything's kind of stopped for about a year and all these jobs stacked up and everybody was waiting to see what was going to happen. Nobody was moving forward. There was a lot of volatility and uncertainty. And now all of those jobs are piling up. So there's a lot of workload that's on everybody's plate. So if you look at those three things, what it's doing is it's increasing costs. I'm just working on a job here in Maryland in which my estimates based on historical costs from 2 years ago are up almost 40%. 40%. That's almost worse than what's going on. It is worse than what's going on in the grocery stores right now. So those are the things that are going on within the market. So let's talk about now what's going on in the construction industry for opportunities. And I'd like to talk about several things here. And the first thing is, historically, there are certain talents and attributes and things you'd have on your resume that historically make those types of people successful in construction. And I put together a little list here. And let me just go through some of these things that I've found that are important for people who are doing well in construction or interested in going into it. First thing is organization. Got to be organized. There's a lot of facts and figures. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of phone calls to return. There's everything. And you have to be very thorough in making sure that all that gets done. And all the pieces are ready to go into place. You have to know where they're coming from. You have to get them to the job site and get them installed correctly. So, schedule conscious. You have to know how to work the deadlines. You have to be dependable. So you say when something's going to get done, it has to get done. I know in my stadium work, there's no, I always tell the kids on the job, I say there's no second place there. There's no second place. ESPN is in the parking lot. We're opening in 3 weeks. We're going to be on TV. There's a game on TV. You got to do this. You got to do whatever it takes to get done. And there's no excuse. You can't do.
The military does a great job of training people for these skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob, thanks for stealing my punchline. Another one, and probably this is the most important, is people skills. And when I was graduating from college, one of the professors said, I was a civil engineer, and he says, we're going to find out when whatever you do, that engineering is going to be easy, being civil is difficult. The last thing here is math skills and research. You'll get documents, no matter how big the job is or how small the job is, you're going to have some form of a contract that is going to legally bind you to a performance. And you'll have to be able to read the contract, understand all the points, evaluate your risk, and then use that in putting a bid in. So all of those things, as Bob mentioned, I've not been in the military, but I'm guessing that this is pretty much a description of what makes someone successful in the military. And basically, it's a can-do attitude. Whatever it takes, get it done. Trends that I'm finding in the construction industry, we have within our company and company-wide, there's a big movement towards diversity and inclusion. Is that we're so far behind other industries for minority, women, disadvantaged veterans, getting more of them into the industry. And there's a lot of intentional programs that are out going on in the industry to make this happen.
Peter
Yeah,
Daffrin, the president and CEO, challenged us about 10, 12 years ago to get Turner's numbers up. And at one point, they reached 10% of new employees across the board. And I guess Turner was hiring slightly less than 1,000 a year, but
right,
10% were veterans with military backgrounds. And that's pretty astounding.
right. And also, this is a nationwide need. I mean, it's not just what we're seeing here locally, but the whole industry is looking for qualified people who are interested in coming into the business. One other aspect that's we're working on very, very avidly is what we're calling active caring. And basically, this is stopping graffiti in the porta-johns. It's the language on the site. It's disparaging remarks, racial slurs. And when anything like that happens on a job, no matter how big, we shut it down for a day, and we have a sensitivity training. It's been very effective. And in fact, I was talking to one of our superintendents. I asked him what was his biggest accomplishment last year. And I thought it would be, he finished the hospital ahead of time. He saved $5 million on a job. And he said, cleaning up graffiti on his job. He said it was so bad that it was, distracting. And with this program, he was able to clean everything up and make it a safer, more inclusive place to work, which is
Tom,
the goal.
You can't really overstate the importance of this. Peter Davrin's instituted this past week an inclusion week.
Right.
Literally, they've got something like 30,000 subcontractors and partners and other construction companies signed up with Turner doing the same thing industry wide to get everybody focused on this. And if you've got a job with 1,000 employees on it, and somebody writes some slander on the side of a portable toilet, and the job is shut down for a day, believe me, you've got everybody's attention.
Right.
It's really, really having an impact.
There are a wide variety of people in the construction industry with wide variety of backgrounds. And some people, like Bob and I, have four-year degrees. Some people have we have a guy who runs Detroit as a PhD. We have a lot of people with two-year degrees, and then we have people with just a lot of experience and street smarts. So not everybody is not an engineer and an architect. We had biology majors do great things in the company. And so with that ability to learn goes a long way within the industry, in that there's a lot of training. We have online courses, and we also run in-person college level training courses on construction management. Broad, you can find a position almost anywhere if you're interested in the construction industry.